Guys, I've been adopted in the quarantine station.
That show that storage.
This is. It's pretty dark, so you can't see.
What?
Sorry, we can't really see anything. Right now, the person lying dead.
What's the vote? Do we want the red light on the up above us, or do you want to keep it dark with the torch? Above. Above? Okay. Behind you, just there's a switch. Could you turn on the one on the left? Yeah, thanks. All right. Come on, there we are. We go. Okay, so here we have the slab. So this is where they perform the operations, and it's got all these little channels, and so all the fluids had to trickle down those after they'd removed the organs, and those fluids would go down this mysterious lead pipe in the ground, and they used to come out at the beach. They gave the first class booking. So they were swimming in infected morgue fluids down at their beach. Yuck. Do you think that was a good idea?
No.
No, because they didn't understand disease. They didn't figure out that that was going to make people sick. And something else that happened was with the second graveyard, where little Isaac is buried, they didn't realise they built that graveyard on top of a spring. Now, springs carry water, and that used to supply the fresh water that they used to drink. And so all the germs from that graveyard started to go down into their drinking water. And people started to get sick from drinking the water here. So, not anymore, they're connected to sick water now, so you're quite safe. But yeah, they made a lot of mistakes back then because they just didn't understand how disease works. So, once they removed the organs from the body to weigh them and measure them, they look for any signs of disease in the organs to find out why the person had died, they'd pass the organs through a dish into the window here, and there'd be an assistant waiting on the other side of the window in the laboratory, ready to collect the organs, where they'd then look at them under a microscope and dissect them and analyse them. So this building probably had a lot of learning going on in it as well, where they were trying to learn about disease and that sort of thing. So they probably did a lot of training with doctors in this particular building. Now, there was one particular doctor who worked here from 1909 to 1927, and his name was Dr. Charles Reed. He was very popular. Everyone adored him. He was apparently a very nice man. And he used to come and help out here in the morgue sometimes. And very sadly, he lost his life in a very tragic accident on an old wooden ferry out on the harbour. It was called the Greycliff disaster, and it was struck by a passenger liner and split in half. So about 44 people lost their lives, including Dr. Reed. This is him here. He was 6'8".
Oh, what?
He's a very tall guy. And when you consider that was over 100 years ago, when people were a lot smaller than we are, he would have been a giant. Yeah. You want a picture of that?
Yeah.
Did you get one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops. So yeah, Dr. Reed has been seen walking down this road outside the morgue, and sometimes he walks over to the hospital as well. And people have seen a very tall shadow figure of a man in a hat going along this road. And we think that could be Dr. Reed, because we don't think he knows he's actually dead. We think he keeps continuing on with his daily routine. But he also has a friend who likes to hang out in here. We don't know his real name, but we call him Mr. Slimy. And he's a ghost who loves to play tricks on people in the morgue. So sometimes when people are standing in here, especially when it's dark, they walk out to find their shoelaces have been untied. There was a lady last night, I meant to say, where the shoelaces had been untied. Sometimes you might undo the zipper on your jacket or undo your buttons, things like that. But sometimes he'll flick you on the nose. One girl even felt his tongue lick a face. So it's really gross, which is why we call him Mr. Slimy. He's just a bit slimy. But we don't think he's evil or anything like that. He just seems to be a practical joker who seems to like playing tricks on people while he sees out the afterlife in the morgue. Now, one more thing before we go, and if the kids want to be a part of this, you can come up the ante with me. We're going to get the parents. Do you want to come up and be involved? Okay, so come up this end, because we all need to do something up here. Parents down there. All right, now can I get parents to cover their ears for a minute while I tell them the game? Okay. Now, when I say All right, so you can take your things off now. Now, we'll get the parents to help us with this. Back in the day, and even sometimes now, people still use slang terms when they talk about someone being buried or someone who's passed away. Can you remember any of those? If I start you off, what about 6 feet under? Have you heard of that one? Mm-hmm. Someone's buried 6 feet under. Pushing up daisies is another one.
Kick the bucket.
What was that?
Kick the bucket.
Kick the bucket. I don't mean to scream. Did you give it a kick?
That was loud.
Yeah? Well, we're supposed to give the parents a fright. I think that one was too successful. I think I gave you more of a fright than the parents. All right, so I'm going to have someone open that door. And we will head on out.
Right, that was just one spooky story.